Good evening, Tar Heel State hangers. Hey, Gear Report. What's up, gearheads and everybody else out in the internet land? This is Pickl here, and you're hanging with Pickl. Tonight we've got Mike Lyle and my buddy Spiguyver Mark Orton to get some chats on, and we're just gonna have a good time doing it and have some fun. So let's go ahead and bring in Mike. Mike, what you say? You out there, brother?
Yes, sir. How's everybody doing out there tonight?
Good, good, good. Got a couple people filing into the chat. Let's bring Mark on. Mark, you there?
I'm here. What's going on, guys?
Awesome. So this is just going to be the three of us. Do we like this view or would we prefer this view?
Whatever works for you, man. I'm the guest, so you guys do your thing.
I don't know. I kind of like my pretty face up closer. So we'll go with this. I'm just kind of, everybody got their drinks, settle in. This could be an interesting night. Mike, are you in a hammock still or are you back on a chair?
I see a ridgeline up there.
There's a ridgeline. Well, he dry docked last night in the first 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah, I'm in my hammock where I'm always at when I'm in the
Okay. Yeah, there's what's going on, Casey? Hey, Barry, gun loving grandpa. Glad y'all can make it and join us. Appreciate the follows.
So Casey's got a new toy to play with. I think tomorrow. Let me see. What's the date today? I think tomorrow is his birthday. So.
Oh, happy birthday, Casey! That's right. Casey got a watch from you, didn't he?
He got a watch, but he got a version 2.0 Spiguyver stove too.
Oh yeah. All right.
That's all right. I got an OG Spiguyver stove.
Yeah, I got an OG Spiguyver stove too, and I got a Heineken pot from Spiguyver.
So do I, and I love that pot.
Right on.
Hey, Karen, how's it going? We have queen of the show, Miss Karen Rammel, in here already. Good, good, good. You got John out there running the machine.
Yeah, if he's not working, Karen, whip him.
Ooh, whip him real good. Put him back to work. What's going on, Sean? Glad you can make it, man. How's things out in Kentucky? So, now we got a couple people in here and we're a couple minutes into the show. I don't know. We'll just keep saying hi and let a couple more people kind of trickle in. Anybody else coming on? Come on in. Grab a drink. Pull up a chair. Kid's doing schoolwork on his phone. Actually, my two schoolwork people are off work or on spring break right now.
How do you get a spring break in the middle of already being on vacation?
I don't know. It was scheduled, I guess. I don't think.
It's
honestly
like being tired on your day off, ain't it?
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be back to school this year. I don't think anybody's going back to school until the fall, and it all depends on who's in charge as to whether or not they get to move forward or repeat the grade.
Oh man.
What's going on, Warsaw? Thanks for coming on in and joining us.
Well, they should still be able to pass their grade. Well, at least here, all the schoolwork is going out online. And for the elementary kids, you can either go to the school and pick up work packets or print it off. And the schools have give out laptops for them to do their work on.
Casey's saying he loves to watch, Mark.
Right on.
Top
glad you're liking it, man.
All right. Well, Casey, with a picture like that, yeah, we're going to not spotlight you again tonight. Thanks, brother. Casey, I'm glad you're a good sport because I love giving you hell. All right, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. On this, the fourth installment, the fourth episode of Hanging with Pickl, and Mike. We've got Spiguyver, Mark Orton from Spiguyver Backpacking. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Good to be
Thanks
here.
for coming in and hanging out with us.
Absolutely. Nothing else to do.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole point of this low budget weekly podcast is we ain't got nothing else to do, so let's just talk hammocks and get some faces to some of the people, and it's maybe some behind the scenes sites. And what are you doing with all this staying at home and social distancing?
Just working from home. I mean, I'm one of the lucky ones that still has a job that I can do mostly from home. Going into work 1 or 2 days a week, but still working, still sitting in this chair right here all day long. It's kind of crazy. People talk about working from home and how great it is. Man, I seem like I'm doing more work working from home, and I've got to find that balance. I've got to find that time to disconnect because it's always here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm the same way. I've been in this chair with this headset on since about 5:15, 5:20 this morning. Yeah. The only thing that changed, it went from coffee to water to a growler of beer. So, that's one of the drawbacks to working from home. I mean, I've not gotten out of this chair since 5 o'clock this morning.
Yep.
And the only way
I did take some time. I if you've watched any of my videos and stuff, I've got a pond right out back, and we've got about a 0.4 of a mile trail around it. And so I took the dog out and did 5 laps around that with the dog earlier. So I got up and did something, but most of it's just been sitting there.
Yeah, I've got a local greenway in town right behind the house, and I have every intention. I'm gonna load up the pack tomorrow. I'm gonna do some miles on it with the full pack. They've got the park closed, but backing onto the complex has its benefits. So,
cool.
Mike, where did you go?
I'm right here. I just had to step out of camera view for a moment.
All right, here comes the dry dock. Here we go. This is the exact moment he did it last week. Oh man! All right.
Okay. Y'all want one free shot at entertainment? Not again.
Sorry, Karen. Sorry, Casey. I tried. Let's see. Warsaw Patriot. Lockdown's got me workout 4 days a week, 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, and a 40-minute run on a treadmill.
Not too bad. I actually bought because I normally go to the gym. I bought some bands. I've been using those. And that's actually, if you get the right bands, that's actually a pretty damn good workout.
Mm-hmm. I read someplace, and maybe it's just having the access in retail like I do, that right now one of the surprising products that are out of supply and short supply are actual dumbbells. Okay, here's Mike. You went from Tactical Sanchez to Foot Soldier from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
Jesus. Thank you, Trailheads, for the masks. Thank you, John and Karen, for the work that you guys are doing and donating. Thank you, Dutch, for sending out random care packages of shot cord to these vendors making masks. Thank you, Dutch, for making face shields, and I think they're level 2 gowns. Thank you to all the vendors that are switching up your operations to help out with this COVID-19.
There's been quite a few of them.
Yeah. And I mean, we've got the right industry to do something with it. So I greatly appreciate it. So Mark, How jonesing are you to get out on the trail?
Bad. Yeah. I mean, I had to cancel the one trip to Alabama. We were going out to Sipsey, so I had to cancel that one. And it's just been, man, I want to get out. I've got gear I want to test. I've got new stuff. I just got the Rutalacura carbon fiber poles for my Banyan. So I want to get out and land it with those, make sure everything's still cool there. It's actually bad enough that I'm just tomorrow night, Dylan, my youngest son, and I are just gonna go. We're gonna go like a mile from here in the park, set up, and just
Right off the 4th green.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna go on some land that may or may not be private, and we may or may not set up there and spend the
Leave
night.
no trace.
That's right.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, yeah, if it makes you feel any better, here in the Carolinas, we have they've shut down all the parks. They've shut down all the state parks and the national parks. The western 30 counties are under a burn ban.
Man,
they've outlawed dispersed camping because they don't want to put a strain on search and rescue. The Forest Service has shut down roads in certain counties and certain areas and so on and so forth. It's
yeah. I normally would go to Arkansas, but Arkansas is closed. So I thought about going up to Kansas to Elk River. We've gone up there a couple of times, but too many people will probably give me shit for doing something like that, the driving and going out of state and whatever. So we're just going to do this. It'll get me out, get me a night in a hammock, and I'll wait till things clear up a little bit. All I'm saying is, if shit's not fixed in September, I don't care. I'm still going to Tahoe. It's not negotiable.
Oh, I'm thinking before September. If shit's not fixed in September and I haven't camped the entire summer.
Yep.
They're going to be problems. There are seriously going to be problems.
I've said it a couple of times now, but if this goes on too long, where people can't feed their families, that's when it's going to get real. That's when make sure you've got your ammo, make sure you've got things ready, and you know how to use it, because that time could come. I'm not saying it's going to, but it could.
I don't want it to, but you're right. I mean, the longer this drags out, the more people stop being polite. And I mean, I've been impressed with how polite people have been in general. Hey, there's my buddy. What's up, Toby? Casey's saying everything's in Kentucky's closed.
Yep.
I know Karen and John, everything in Ohio's closed.
Texas is pretty much all closed. Arkansas pretty much closed their borders and said, nope, you're not coming in.
Same way with Texas.
Yep.
At least coming from the east.
Is that Toby that camped with us before?
He's camped with me. I don't think he's camped with Tar Heel State Hangers. I think you're thinking of Nick.
No,
either Nick or Scotty.
Scotty had the drone.
Scotty had the drone and the Razor. Yep.
I thought Toby was the guy that came down to Hannah's Creek with us.
No, that was Colby.
Colby.
Yep.
Hey, Colby, Toby, it was close.
Close enough.
Close enough. We're all friends and family here.
Hello, Toby, anyways.
Mike, what about you? You doing any camping?
Not since our trip to Ohio. I haven't.
Yeah. Yep, I'm the same way. I did get out that one night to the gorge before it was a completely and officially shut down. Got to sleep in the banyan for one night.
Nice.
I got one night in it, Dutch. I got one night in it. Just one night.
I got a few more.
Fortunately for me, I'm surrounded by land that I can cut out and camp in. I could hike all the mileage I wanted to, and only road that I would cross would be the one right in front of my house, and that would be just to get to the other side of it.
Yeah. Mike's
I
out
could
in the.
literally walk to 2 counties away through the woods without hardly ever touching asphalt.
Nice.
I'm eastern North Carolina, about an hour and a half inland from the coast, and whenever I was a kid growing up, you could drive all the way to the beach through the woods from my house.
So, Mark, you've recently purged a bunch of gear.
Yeah, I needed some money. I need some quick cash. I got rid of
Why do you need cash, man?
Well, this YouTube thing, contrary to what people think, I don't make money. I don't make any money doing that.
What? You're not living off YouTube?
I spend so much more money doing YouTube than I make from it. But I wanted a new camera. I bought that Sony A5100, great camera. I had 3 different lenses for it. But the problem was I can't take 3. I could, I guess. I could take 3 lenses camping out backpacking with me, but I don't. And so now I'm stuck with one. Which one do I decide on? And I was kind of limited. Plus, I screwed up settings all the damn time. And like we talked about earlier, there have been a handful of trips that went in the trash when I got home because I had the settings wrong and the footage looked horrible and I wasn't going to put it out. So I went to something that's I still went high enough end that there's all the manual settings I could use. It has so much more range, but I went with a camcorder. I went with a true video camera in order to kind of cut out some of there's no switching lenses. There's no different, all the filters I need are already built into it. So, I mean, for me, it was a step to a little bit of simplicity. It might be a little bit heavier. I don't know, but I'm gonna learn to use this one piece and do it better. Plus, the 5100 doesn't have 4K, and I was looking to go 4K, and this does have 4K.
Okay, have fun editing that 4K.
Yep. Editing is always the fun part.
So we met back when I won, I believe it was your 1,000 subscriber giveaway.
Yep. You got the hatchling.
I got the hatchling. That was my first hatchling. That was my introduction to that hatchling into Terrapin Outfitters. Let's see. And now I'm just looked your 8,760 viewers, 8.76K viewers on YouTube.
Yep.
Tell me about that ride.
It slowed down. Like there was a period there that it was growing really fast, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is crazy!" It's definitely slowed down. I've got definitely my diehard fans, the ones that comment all the time, and that I pretty much they're the community. They're on Facebook. They're watching the videos and commenting, and it's good. I think I don't know. People get set in. They want to see specific videos. They want to see specific things. And then you switch things up and you start talking about coffee and you throw people
Come on, I've enjoyed the coffee.
There are definitely a fair amount that have enjoyed the coffee. I enjoy the coffee. And like I said, I'm not making much if any off of YouTube. I'm still definitely spending more than I'm making. So I'm going to do the stuff I want to do. I mean, I'll put out questions and say, hey, does anyone want to see anything? Is there any gear anyone wants to see reviewed? And people throw out ideas, and I'm all for it. But honestly, if it's something like, I've had a lot of people ask for gear that I have no desire to do, and I'm just like, it's not going to happen. Sorry. I'm paying the money, unless it's getting sent to me for free, which there's not a ton of that's quality gear.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy the stuff I want.
Mm-hmm.
What's been the most? Well, both of you can take this question.
Okay.
What's been the piece of gear that you was the most excited about to get and test and do a review on?
Well, for me, without a doubt, it was the Chameleon. Just because that was the first real piece of gear that anyone reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to test?" And it was so different than anything else that was out there. And the people that were doing it, like Syntax had one. Just like the people that were getting to test them, Shug, Syntax. When my name kind of got thrown into that mix, I was just like, holy shit, that's pretty crazy. So that's definitely been, for me, the big one, the one that meant the most.
I think mine was the Tencel Stealth. It was pre-production. I got an email from the CEO of Tencel, and he said, we're sending out 3 worldwide, and you're getting one of them.
Nice.
And I mean, I'm still a nobody, but at that time I was really a nobody in the hammock world, in the review world, and I was tickled about that thing for weeks.
Yeah.
Getting it and trying it and the whole 9 yards. And then for my personal needs, it was just too big. There's, when you're talking 13.5 foot triangle, there's a lot there.
Well, and it's hard to find a place to put that thing up.
It wasn't as bad as what you think.
Really?
You think, yeah, it's hard enough to find 2 trees. Now I got to find 3 trees, and
yeah,
it's not as hard as what you think. You're just looking at bigger spans, and they don't have to be perfect, spot on. But I still love the Connect that I have. It fits my needs better as a 2-person or a large 1-person floating palace of a tree tent.
Very cool.
Actually, there's only been one time that I've been with Pickl where he hung that it was a issue about hanging it, and that's when we went to Ohio. He decides to hang it at the exit end of our tarps. Every time he jumped out from underneath the tarp and turned to go, bam, there was the strap.
It wasn't a problem for the Tencel. It was a problem for Mike's height.
Yeah, you get that nature call in the middle of the night, and you find yourself on your ass. Yeah.
Yep.
I think he intentionally done that just to pull a Barry on me. You seen how he pushed Barry out of the Tencel?
I did not push him. Did not push Barry. If y'all want to see that video and y'all haven't seen that video, let me know. I may be able to even cue that video up. Do we want to see the video of Barry falling out of the Tencel?
Oh man.
Let's see. It should be here recent.
Pickl meeting you, Mark, and the giveaway and everything. I want to say I think I might have won your very first giveaway 3 years or so ago. You were still
remember what it was?
It was a stove.
Okay.
I want to say that's when you have very first started making stoves.
Okay. Cool.
I know you didn't have I think it might have even been 100 subscriber giveaway.
Yeah.
It was very, very early on. And then fast forward a couple years, it just so happened that Pickl and I were down at Hangin, and you were doing a giveaway, and it was the 2 of us that won the giveaway.
Yep.
It was
That's what the splash page picture was from.
Yep. That was cool. Right. It was cool to come hang out with you guys down there too.
Yeah, it was a good trip. It was a good trip. Well, here without any ado, here's Barry falling out of my Tinsel Connect. I'll let you be the judge of to whether or not I push him out or not.
Yeah, you done something over there to the side, and you pulled your strap on.
Nice. It's a good one, Barry. I see you down there.
Oh, I see how you fast forwarded at that time to show him, look at Barry, think about walking away, and then decide, wait, I might need to go check on him since I am on camera. Watch. Oh, here he goes. He's like,
yeah. He hasn't got up yet.
Wait, I might need to be a good person to go check on him.
He had a thorn in him or something. I don't know. See, I helped him up. He had a thorn in him.
He fell out.
Waving it off.
He got bit in the ass, and you were sucking the venom out.
No. No.
That's the story I'm telling.
Oh, is that the story? All right, there you go. All right, there's the story. So where do we go from here? You got anything big in the works once COVID-19?
Just that trip in September. We're doing Rainman and I are through hiking the Tahoe Rim Trail. So about 170 mile trail around Lake Tahoe. So that's the big one. Early September.
Early.
Trying to make sure that one still happens. I want to be in shape for that, so I'd like to get out for some trips between now and then, but we'll see. We'll see what this world ends up giving us.
See, Barry's fell in a thorn bush. See.
Thorn bush rattlesnake or something like that.
And yeah, I did check on the camera before checking on him because he's laughing, going, I hope you caught that on camera.
He was hoping you caught that on camera for evidence to blackmail you with.
Who'd have thunk it?
Is there going to be a big Tar Heel hang as soon as this thing's ready to go?
As me and Pickl have discussed, as soon as they say parks are back open, it could be that Thursday. We might have a hang that Saturday.
Yeah,
I like it.
We're itching.
Well, I think it'll probably be your biggest attended one ever too, because there's a lot of people itching.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't want to host that one. I want to attend that one.
Yeah.
I want to have fun at that one, and I want to be able to sneak out stage left on that one when it's time to sneak out stage left. I don't want to host that one. We'll host our November Hangsgiving for everybody, and obviously, Mark, you've got a open invitation. But whenever this gets lifted and camping starts again, that first hang is going to look like Bonnaroo. It's going to look like, the Hammock version of Lollapalooza or, whatnot. And it's going to be nuts.
Yep. I agree.
Oh, somebody's asking for the stream. Hang on, y'all. Y'all keep talking.
I just can't wait to go somewhere. I'm disappointed that we're not going to be able to go to Red River Gorge. If Pickl don't soon carry me to Linville Gorge, pushing him in a mud puddle.
Man, you're welcome to join me up in Linville Gorge anytime you want. Right now, it's closed.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we were talking with the Gorge Rats. There's a chance that we're just going to set up an anti-lemonade stand on one of the roads at the end of the road where it's closed past there and say, no, You can't come in here. Go on home. We're closed.
Well, hey, can we tell them to lemonade before we tell them it's closed?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
if we want to sell them some lemonade, I guess we can. Oh,
I'm like a sweet and sour patch kid. I'm sweet, then I'm sour.
okay.
But only a little sweet. That's why we use lemonade.
Right.
I'm the sweet pickle. Is that what it is? Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Casey's doing a big event at the gorge as soon as he can get free.
Man, I need to get to the gorge. That's one of the things. I've had plans, I think 2 or 3 times now to head there, and something has caused me to cancel them every damn time. So I need to get out there.
Well, when we went to Ohio, our original plan was we were leaving from there and going to hit the gorge on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
But right before we went to pack up, John looked at us two and was like, no, y'all two don't have to leave, right? Y'all can stay again tonight.
Yep.
We looked at each other. Pickl was like, what you think? I'm like, well, dude, all of our stuff's already set up. It's either leave it set up, spend the night, hang out with John, get up in the morning, pack up, go home, or it's pack up, drive a few hours, walk in a few miles, set up, go to sleep, wake up, pack up, walk out a few miles, drive a few hours home, and so yeah, it was just seemed like a better option and idea all the way around to stay where we were, and it was
Nice.
Yep. It was a good trip. And it was like putting a cherry on top of a nice weekend Sunday. It was a good trip, and I promise you, I will be back to that hang. John and Karen put on an amazing hang, and this is coming from somebody that's put on a few hangs, so I know what kind of work it takes.
What I've heard. I mean, they're definitely good people. I mean, appreciate everything they've done with me, and just like we talked about earlier, the cottage industry reaching out and doing the things for the medical industry and the frontline people right now is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give a sincere thank you to all of them out there as well.
Yep.
Yes, likewise. And if any of the vendors needs anything that I can do for you or Tar Heel can do for you, please reach out and let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those that are getting checks, remember these people that help us out. I mean, have you been to a hang where vendors haven't hooked us up and had stuff there and done raffles and donated stuff? I mean, I remember the first big hang I went to was the first Hang Con, and I remember Adam with Hammock Gear. He had about, I would say, 20 quilts that were donated, and then another $100 gift certificates.
Wow.
I mean, you're like, holy crap. I mean, just the number of stuff, the number of things, the amount of stuff that he donated. And it wasn't just him. I mean, it was Dutch, it was Loco Libre, it was everybody was just piling stuff on that table. And it was like, holy crap. I mean, incredible community. There are no other communities out there. I mean, you don't go to a car show and have people giving away car parts. I mean, it just doesn't happen. This is the only industry that this kind of thing happens. You don't go to a gun show and walk out with a new gun. I mean,
without paying for it. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, this is a unique industry. They help us out. We've got to do the same. We've got to reciprocate that. We've got to show the love. And that's a big deal for me is, dude, help these people out. They've helped us out.
Yeah. Not tooting my own horn, but that money arrived and that money went out today. So, I spread it out to the cottage vendors, and I supported the company that I work for because they're keeping me in business. So,
hey, yep.
It's money I wasn't counting on and wasn't expecting. And okay, we'll get a few things that I wasn't planning on and wasn't, expecting. So,
sure.
You know, buy local, buy small. I have also found out that I don't know about y'all, but your local breweries, Red Buffalo Brewing in downtown Statesville, North Carolina, is selling their growlers cheaper because they don't have anybody coming into the brewery to drink. So, I'm getting a lot of craft beer, and
What'd you fill that one up with?
this is a red ale. I'm
Nice.
a red amber ale fan.
Okay.
Not real heavy on the IPA, just a nice, full-bodied, happy beer.
Good deal.
Is what I consider it. So,
Right on. So where are the controversial topics? How do we get some people riled up in here?
let's see. All right.
I think I've done my fair share of that today.
Yeah, I saw a little of that.
All right, let's go around the table. What is, and be honest, what is your favorite hammock and what is your least favorite hammock
That we own or that
you've ever been in? And I'll even give you that scapegoat if you want to say, well, I was in that one time and I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go there. I mean, I'll stick with pissing people off.
Hey, you brought it up. You brought up controversial stuff. So
I'll jump right in and be the first to go. So I think everyone's pretty aware. I'm a big fan of this Banyan.
okay.
If I could, and that's why I bought the new poles for it. That's why I bought the new spreader bars that are carbon, is trying to drop the weight, and I dropped the weight right at 3 ounces. So we're talking 25 and change for a bridge, which isn't horrible. Comfort wise, I don't think I have anything that compares to it at this point. Least favorite hammock, without a doubt, War Bonnet, Blackbird XLC.
Okay. All right.
Hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Okay.
I know people love it. I'm not that person.
Okay.
And honestly, every single person that I let lay in that or sleep in it had the same opinion I had.
Okay. I can't say
but I always had another hammock that they were also able to lay in. You know how that works.
Yep, I do. Mike?
My most favorite one, and I've owned 20, 25 different hammocks. My most favorite one out of all of them I've owned would be my Chameleon.
Okay.
As you know from being my camping partner, I got that like a year and a half ago, and I don't think I've carried any other hammock camping since then.
He sleeps in a winter cover with it year round.
Yeah, nice. That's just because that's what's on it. So work with what you got, and to me, even every time I've hung that hammock, even if I hung it completely wrong, I'm talking head in, higher than the foot in, whatever, somehow or another, I was able to be comfortable in that hammock, even if it was hung completely wrong. And I wasn't laying there at a good diagonal. I was still comfortable in it.
Yeah, I think we need to recognize G23's least favorite.
Yeah. I was getting ready to pop that up once we got to a breather. The banana hammock. Yeah.
My least favorite hammock that I own. I'm probably gonna have to go with my dream hammock.
Okay.
It's not that it's a bad hammock. It's just I'm not quite as comfortable in it as I am my other hammocks. To me, it's a little on the heavy side, which it is a double layered hammock with the bug net and top cover, I want to say.
Okay.
And those watching the stream, please, by all means, give me your shout out.
And I want to say that one is a 10-footer, opposed to all the other ones that I had got accustomed to were 11-foot. And a part of it probably is that I bought that hammock secondhand. I didn't get the dream experience with purchasing that hammock.
And waiting 8 to 10 weeks and
right.
But that's out of all my hammocks I have, and not bashing the dream hammock at all. I'm not saying it's a bad hammock. It's top quality. I mean, the quality's there on it.
Okay.
That's the last one I'm going to pick out of all the hammocks that I have to go on a trip with, because it's big, it's bulky, it's heavy, and I'm just not quite as comfortable in it as I am my other ones.
Yeah. So for me, I really, about half the people in this chat probably could give my top and least favorite hammocks just by knowing me. The top hammock is at this point right here, right now, it is literally a coin toss between my Chameleon Wide and my Wraith. And it depends on the season. It depends on, am I car camping and I'll take that little bit of extra weight, or am I backpacking and I want to shave those ounces off? That's the difference. They are the most comfortable hammocks I've ever laid in. Least favorite, it's going to be the Ninox.
You still own it?
No.
Okay.
Heavens no. Yeah. I climbed in it and I knew 15 minutes into it that it was not the prototype that I test drove, that I provided opinions on, and it was reasonably comfortable, but it didn't fill a slot that I didn't already have 4 other hammocks to fill.
Cool.
Yep. And I just it was a comfortable hammock, and that's about as far as I'm gonna get into that.
Cool. All right, since I'm on and I'm a YouTube guy, so who's your favorite? Who do you watch pretty religiously, and who is someone that other people really like that you just can't freaking stand?
All right. You are the first YouTuber that we've had on the show. And I think I watch you religiously, more so because I consider you an off YouTube friend than just a YouTube personality that I tune into.
Yeah, so take me out of the running.
All right, so taking you out of the running, Ivy Tat. I enjoy the honest rawness of his videos. I enjoy his cinematography. I enjoy the way his videography, his cinematography. I enjoy the rawness, and I just enjoy the honesty, because he is somebody that we all know and we'd all meet on a trail. And on the flip side of that coin, I'd probably be Syntax 77.
Man, I'm with you on that one.
I started out, it was okay.
I used to watch him pretty damn religiously.
I did too. And the more I got into the industry and the more I got to speaking to industry people, the more I started seeing between the lines of his videos, and that was about it. So.
Yeah. So Casey over here says, I'm good, but Suge's the man. And dude, hard to argue with that. I mean, Suge. So I will say, you either love Suge or you hate Suge.
Yeah.
I love Suge. I love Suge. Always have. I reached out to him real early on in my YouTube channel together, and and he gave me a bunch of good tips. I mean, the dude is down to earth and willing to talk, and I continue to watch him to this day. Absolutely. Syntax, not so much. My favorite right now is a guy called Craig Adams, and if you haven't seen him, he about, I would say it was about 6 months ago, went viral. He happened to be, I think he was doing like an Iceland trip at the time. Something was going on in Iceland, and so one of his videos went like millions of views, and all of a sudden he had like what's the name of that? The big Photoshop. Is it like I don't know.
Yeah.
Or something. Started sponsoring him and giving him all this equipment. And his videos, right now, he's doing like silent backpacking trips. And they're incredible. The scenery is amazing. Like he did like tour of Mount Blanc. He's done stuff down in Patagonia. And it's just the footage is what I would love to be able to do, but I'm not talented enough to put it together.
Okay.
The soundtrack to it, I mean, he actually has a degree in cinematography.
Okay.
So the dude knows what to do, and it shows. On the flip side, the ones that I can't stand, dude, I used to be a huge Syntax fan, and that went downhill. I think it went downhill when the whole Outdoor Vitals stuff. I mean, in my opinion, he kind of sold out with stuff. And I saw that I kind of, at one point, was almost going down that road because I was taking some of that Chinese crap because, hey, people are giving me free shit.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I was like, dude, I'm not taking any more of this. I pretty much made a rule. If I'm not going to use it myself, if it's not something that I would buy, I'm not taking it. I'm not going to do a review on it. I'm not going to talk about it because if I'm not going to use it, my viewers aren't going to use it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, nope. I kind of drew a line at that point. I think I did, when I first moved back to Oklahoma, I did like a couple of reviews on some crappy Chinese crap. And I considered myself a sellout at that point, and I hated myself for it. So seeing guys that have 10 times the freaking subscribers that I have going after these little free crap, and it is. I mean, Outdoor Vitals, my opinion, not good quality gear.
I've done one review, and it was a 30-degree sleeping bag. It was as advertised.
Yep.
It was comfortable at about 45 degrees. It was survivable at about 30. Yeah.
Yep. So then there's the other one, and this kind of I got called out for this one.
Sup, Jeff?
I got called out for this one on another one, but Last Chance Hiker. I'll just throw it out there. Not a fan.
Okay.
Chris and I, Rainman and I had a theory when it first came out that it was almost Truman Show-esque. Like this guy's doing like 2-3 miles a day in the beginning, and dude, all the credit to him for what he pushed through and did. We thought it was a production. We really thought this was being put on by somebody.
That it was like a Biggest Loser type.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, the fact that a week, I don't even know if it was a week into his trip, he had people coming down the trail to give him stuff. Like when he got caught out in a storm at one point, somebody who was following him came down the trail to give him something. And it's like, he wasn't that big at that time. Were there really people doing that, or was this all staged?
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I got that into my head, and I had a hard time after that watching it with any seriousness. So I know I'll take some heat for that one.
You know, I watch a lot of gear review videos just because of what I do, and it annoys the snot out of me to see somebody say, "Here's a Yeti cup. Let me tell you about this Yeti cup. Flash, here's the specs off Yeti's page. Flash, here's a advertising marketing photo of the Yeti cup off Yeti's website. Flash, here's some cute bikini blonde holding said Yeti cup, preposterously. Flash, here's another marketing video. Flash, here's my top 5 Yeti cups. Link, 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 link. And they're all affiliate links. And then that's it.
Yeah.
That there's no actual use. There's none whatsoever. Or you see a marketing video that, how did you sleep there? You're not sleeping there. Case in point, that looks almost like a marketing video. There's no other gear viewed. There's nothing there. There's no chance that anything's going to happen at all whatsoever until somebody falls out of the tinsel. There you go. Boom. And yet, even though he fell out of it, he still slept in it. And the only reason why we had it that high was because we were trying to get his motorcycle under it to stage for the marketing pictures.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like. I don't like the videos where all you're doing is just flashing marketing photos that aren't yours, aren't your property, and you're just trying to get clicks and likes. That just annoys the snot out of me.
What about you, Mike?
Well, you see, I have such squirrel syndrome that I really don't watch a whole lot of YouTube videos. I generally have like 10 to 50 of y'all in the community a day messaging me, having conversations with me about something on top of everything else that I'm doing. So yeah, my online time is pretty much spent doing that and not watching videos.
Mike's working the room.
Yep.
And yeah, exactly. I'm working the room, and I'm one of those, if I sit down and I get so still that I can watch and focus on a TV program, a YouTube video, I'm going to sleep in about 10 minutes. Regardless to how interesting it is, if I can slow myself down enough to sit down like that, then I'm going to sleep. Yeah. So
okay.
I really can't weigh in on the videos.
It's fair. It's fair. You could just say I suck. It's cool.
He has. He was trying to refrain from it tonight. G, what's your favorite two-way channel? Go ahead and throw it out there. We support a lot of Second Amendment rights here at Gear Report, as I'm sure you well know. Mark's a veteran of this great nation, and we appreciate his I
love
service.
Demolition Ranch, man. Demolition Ranch is awesome.
Okay.
Used to be a Hickok guy.
Okay.
I like Demolition Ranch, though.
Okay. Real quick synopsis. What'd you do in the military for the few vets that we have out there?
So I split my time just about 50-50 with being a mechanic on C-5 aircraft, and then switched over to the dark side and became a pilot.
And what'd you fly? Or is that top secret?
I flew AWACS and then went back and taught at pilot training.
Okay.
Sir,
were you at Top Gun?
Information.
What's that?
I said he didn't have the clearance for that information.
That's right.
Above his pay grade.
We're going to start superimposing Mark's picture on Tom Skerritt from Top Gun. I can see it. I can see it. Let's see. Gizzard Gary, Ghost Tactical, and Clover Tactical. Yep. I will say my two favorite D-list celebrity are Ghost and Clover. Do what?
Not the D-listers.
That's the D-listers right there.
What's up, guys?
Let's see. Jeff's still just here for the Yeti Blonde. I figured he'd get some of that down at Satellite Beach.
So, what made you two guys want to decide to go lightweight to ultra lightweight?
That's a good one. So, when I first started backpacking, I was definitely not ultralight in any sense of that. As a matter of fact, one of the big trips that I did was way back, probably in, I don't know, 95, 96. I was doing a winter ascent of Mount Whitney, and I was probably carrying 65, 70 pounds with me. I used to have, like, I used to look for the biggest pack. I got one from one of my friends, and from then I just wanted bigger. And so I ended up with, like, REI made one called, like, the Great Star. And I want to say that thing was damn near 100 liters. Humongous. So just the biggest damn thing you can get, maybe even 125. I don't know.
I thought it was 110 because I think I had that back.
Yeah. So, I mean, big. And I would fill that thing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up moving to a state, Mississippi, that had zero backpacking. I mean, zero. And really my job I didn't have time. And so I kind of got out of backpacking for several years. And when I got back into it, I was like, I really want to do this a little bit different, and did the research and got into the lightweight stuff. Found alcohol stoves. I found Hiram Cook on YouTube and started making my own stoves and trying to go absolutely as light as possible. And I have and have had some setups that are ridiculously light, like 5-pound base weight to hit the trail. I mean, under 12 pounds for a weekend, with food and water. I mean, pretty damn light. But I'm kind of migrating away from that a little bit at this point, and bringing some of the luxuries, some of the comfort items back into it. And that's why, I'm not too terribly concerned with taking, like, the Banyan. Now, there's still going to be trips that Wraith UL is going in the pack because it is the lightest damn thing out there. And
you can't knock it.
Well, and here's the thing. Not only is it light, it's comfortable.
And it's complete.
Yes. It's got the bug net. It's there. So, yeah, there's absolutely still going to be trips that I go light. I mean, Chris and I like going out and hitting some fast. We've got plans to do a couple of 30-mile days. Well, we had plans. We'll see what the hell the virus does to us. But we want to nail some 30-mile days, and you're not doing that with a heavy pack.
Yeah, no.
At least not at. I'm 43. I'm not doing that at 43 with a heavy ass pack.
Yep.
And that's the thing is, I can move faster, I can cover more ground, and feel better the next day going light. So that for me, that was it.
So for me, I took a long hiatus, came back. First trip back included these items with my tent. Now, my tent was a big Agnes Fairview 2 tent, so reasonably light, but not, anywhere close to UL. But there were also 2 bottles of wine in the bottles.
Essentials, man.
Essentials. I had the Whisper Light stove with a 64-ounce fuel bottle. I had the Katadyn Hiker Pro water filter. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a complete train wreck, but we were pretty close to a complete train wreck. And after almost setting the forest on fire with the Whisper Light stove and way too damn much fuel that I had any business being out in the woods with, I came back and started, looking a little bit lighter. And not long after that, I fell into the hammock community, and things started going from there, and really started to focus on dropping weight and going ultralight when I was looking for a stove lighter than my Whisper Light. Made my first aluminum can stove. Thought that was a pain, all the parts going to and from, and then fell upon that stupid Spiguyver channel with his silly little 2-part stove that was almost too easy to make, and it worked flawlessly. So, that's, Mark, you are almost my measuring stick and inspiration to really start dropping the weight. And it really didn't become a viable option for me until I started with Gear Report and I could start focusing on the lighter gear and the more specialized gear and fall down that channel.
Yeah. Awesome. I think one of the biggest advantages or biggest innovations that's helped the lightweight community or even the community in as a whole drop some weight is Cuban fiber.
Yeah.
ECF. So much stuff is being made out of it now, and all the thoughts that it's this fragile, you can't use it for anything. Once the hybrid started rolling out, I mean it's light, it's durable. It was a game changer.
John, that train wreck was from the moment we left the vehicle. So it was before, during, and after those 2 bottles of wine. Let's see. Casey wants to know what our favorite backpacks are and least favorites.
My favorite backpack,
I think Mike's got more backpacks than both of us combined, so we'll let Mike.
it's gonna be after the 40-mile hike. It's gonna be a toss-up between the ULA Ohm and the ULA Catalyst. They both have their places. That Ohm, I loved it. I mean, it just carried great. I had no complaints. It held everything I needed with a wee little bit of extra room, but not enough that I felt like I had to cram something in there to fill up the space. I could have got more in there than what I did, but it wasn't needed. So those 2 packs are kind of neck and neck.
Oh, come on, Shield Brothers. He's just sipping on a hard cider.
That's right.
He's not even to the land of growlers yet.
Multiples. So
Oh, multiple. That's right. Yeah, he had backup. So for me, if I had to single out one pack and one pack to rule them all, I'd go with the Sierra Designs Flex Capacitor. My only complaint on that pack is it does not have that exterior mesh stow pocket, and I throw a Dutchware Gear pack back on that, and I'm good to go. I'm right at 2 pounds, maybe a little bit over 2 pounds for it. I can go as small, cinch it down as small as 40 liters, as large as 60 liters. It carries good. It rides good.
Nice. What's your least favorite?
Anything by Osprey?
Hey, you gave me crap about that little day pack every time.
I did, but I gave you crap on that one just because we're friends.
Right.
But I don't know. I think they're a lot like Eno. They've convinced the world that they are the end all be all of backpacks, and when it comes down to it, there's so many better brands that are cheaper. They're lighter.
Oh,
I'll put a ULA pack up against an Osprey pack any day of the week, at any volume, in any carrying distance, at any support weight.
Yep. Cool. So for me, my favorite, I've had some ULA packs that I love. My CDT, I got more use out of my ULA CDT than I have of any pack. I used that for a longer period of time, beat the crap out of it, sent it back to them and had it repaired, kept beating the crap out of it. Great pack. Absolutely great pack. Then I got into more of the ultra. I mean, that's a pretty lightweight pack by itself, but then I got into the DCF stuff, and I've never had a pack disappear on my back the way that my Light AF Curve 35 does. I put that thing on and it just fits me. It's perfect. Those wider straps, it rides amazing. Surprisingly, My least favorite pack was my ULA Ohm. I know people love them. I know people have them. Say the same thing as what I just said about my light AF, that they disappear on their back. They don't even feel like they're carrying anything. I could never get comfortable. The first few times I used it, I had bruised hips. I don't know what was. Maybe mine was just something was up with it. But I never liked that pack.
I've got a Deuter pack that it's a strange animal. It's an older pack, and it's 4.5 pounds dry by itself. It's 4.5 pound pack, but it's a 45-liter pack.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's a 45-liter, 4.5 pound pack, and I carried it on a trip. We went 12 miles on an overnight, and from the top of my trapezoid down over the clavicle, halfway down my pec, was bruised for 5 days later. It hurt. I was worried I may have tore something or whatnot, but it was just from how that pack rode on just my right shoulder or my right chest.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, sometimes things just don't fit you.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's no fault of the equipment. I mean, each of us is shaped a little bit differently.
Yeah.
My least favorite pack that I've ever carried would be the ILBE pack, which that's a military surplus pack. I can literally almost get completely in that pack standing straight up.
So it's small. It's small.
It's small, exactly.
It's tactical Sanchez sized.
Can't get everything in it. There is tons of strapping and webbing on the outside that you can put it on the outside. So,
yep.
I carried that pack about a mile in. I had the bushwhack in pretty much 3/4 of the way. When I got to the campsite we were going to, I found out that you could actually canoe into that site, and one of the guys there had a canoe. So I immediately went to pulling stuff off the pack. And Pickl, you think Coop looked bad coming in to Hannah's? Yeah, I had him beat. I mean,
we've all been there.
Everything, and that's pretty much whenever I started dropping pack weight, was immediately after that trip of carrying that heavy pack. Like I said, as soon as I got there and seen the canoe, I went to loading the canoe what was stuffed. I was like, "Yep, I can get away without using this. I can do without this for the weekend." And so everything went back across on the canoe.
Yep. Yeah. Every time I see somebody hiking down a trail that's got a pack and there's mugs hanging off and Crocs hanging off and Nalgene bottles hanging off the back, and I think to myself, you need a mentor.
Yeah. Chris and I have passed this one group several times. We've seen them out around several times, and they all have their external frame packs with all kinds of shit hanging off of it, including cast iron.
Yeah.
Dude, you're committed. You're committed.
Now, I will say the one time I've gone backpacking and Mike was on the trip with cast iron, that somebody brought cast iron in, and I'm not talking Coop. Coop doesn't count. Was we did a weekend for Mike's birthday up on Max Patch, up on the AT, parked at Max Patch. And our buddy Mark Holden, as we were all loading up, he handed me a pound of shrimp. He handed Mike a pound of catfish. He handed somebody else a pound of something. And we're like, what are you doing with all this? And somebody got a bag of rice. And he says, oh, carry it up. I've got dinner taken care of.
Nice.
And he had an external pack, didn't he, Mike?
He had a medium Alice pack.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was okay. So he's rocking an Alice pack. He breaks out a number 10 Dutch oven still in the box. Carries it the 2-3 miles that we walked, well, maybe a mile and a half that we walked up over Max Patch from the parking lot to the other side to the camping spot. And we had shrimp and catfish jambalaya that night for dinner. And The 5 of us ate every bit of that. There was not a critter in the woods that was going to get any of those leftovers because we just about licked that Dutch oven clean. So
Very cool.
Casey says his favorite packs is Light AF and his least favorite packs is Osprey.
Yeah, that Light AF. Chris threw mine on for about a mile, and immediately, I think he actually ordered a pack from the trail after wearing mine.
I don't have any of Light AF Chris's stuff, but I've seen it and it looks top notch.
Yeah.
Casey making smart comments. You have no room to talk about bringing extra stuff. Remember Hanson's point.
I remember seeing posts about that.
He wanted that T-shirt very
I
badly.
wanted that T-shirt very badly.
It was a competition, right?
Yeah, it was heaviest pack.
Yep.
And when I showed up with the flex capacitor had 35 or 40 pounds in it. I had an igloo cooler of adult beverages and ice. And I had not one but 2 Tensa 4 stands.
And how far in was this?
About a 5K, about 3.5 miles. And it rained the whole way. So those 12, 15-pound Tensa stands on site weighed in at 25 pounds.
And you didn't do this all in one trip, did you?
Oh yeah, no, it was one trip in.
Wow.
I weighed in on site at 105 pounds.
Dude, you're a monster.
Yeah, my somewhat overweight, somewhat skinny, no acetol pill taking self carried 105 pounds from the parking lot to Hanson's Point.
It's pretty impressive.
Now it took me 2 trips to come out. I took 2 trips out. Saturday afternoon, I carried everything out but my rig and dinner. So
nice.
But yeah, that was my heaviest trip.
What's your worst gear failure? Like not it being a bad piece of gear, but actually failing.
I've not really experienced that directly yet. I think all in all, I had an old Coleman 2-burner stove, and it wasn't the gasoline type; it was the canister type.
Okay.
And we were cooking breakfast on it one morning, and literally had just switched out to a new canister. And about a minute and a half, 2 minutes after the canister switched out, the valve broke, and the classic 3.5-foot flame shooting out the top of it. And we just sat there and watched the flame shoot out the top of this canister, out the top of the stove until it melted itself down, hoping and praying that it didn't just explode.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I think I've seen several stove failures. I mean, one was what gave me my trail name.
The only piece of gear I've had to fail was a stove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was actually user error. It was a BRS stove, and I was trying to heat a piece of toast up over it, and dropped it, and it hit the burner, and stoves just never worked since then.
Man, I had a pair of really nice, expensive, all leather Zamberlin boots, and I was out with solo trip out in the Sierras, and sole completely came off of one of them. Like, entirely detached. So duct tape. Duct tape and the quickest route out.
Man, quickest route out.
Yep.
Hennessy bottom entry, tree hugger failed in the middle of the night.
Ooh.
That makes for a quick fall and a sudden stop.
It's not so much the fall.
It's that sudden stop.
Well, what's a piece of ultralight or lightweight gear that y'all just thought you had to have, until you actually got it and then decided you could really live without it.
Damn it, Mike, are we working on a script or something? Because I was just thinking that same question.
Pickl and I might have the same answer.
Yeah, before we get into that, yeah, I witnessed that one. Barry was crashed out in South Carolina when a bubble in his big orange screw that was anchoring his Tensa 4 to the ground broke in the middle of the screw in the middle of the night.
Ow.
And the funny part was not more than an hour before that, I don't know, 3-inch diameter tree branch fell about 60 feet off my head tree, my hammock's head tree. It just fell on the other side. And I heard it fall, woke up, couldn't get out of my hammock because I pulled the zipper in the wrong direction. Heard it land, had my feet out, realized nothing happened with the hammock, and realized I had to water a tree. Got up to water the tree, and I was like, wait a minute, there wasn't a tree right here last time. Got back in, got comfy, had just fallen asleep, and I hear a thud. Oof! You okay? Yeah. Hammock stand broke. Okay. Need some help? No. Yep. So we all been there. All right. UL piece of gear had to have. Don't ever take it.
All right. I think you know it because you've got it.
Yep.
I wanted to see what it was.
Yep.
I mean, if you're looking for the lightest thing out there and you've already got everything else,
I've got it for sale if anybody wants it.
Hey, Dutch has this ASIM tarp that weighs what, 3 ounces, 3¼ ounces?
With what you shipped it, I pulled it out of the box that you shipped it and stuck it on my scale, and it was 4.1 ounces with the DCF stuff sack.
So it's got the DCF stuff sack. It also had the alien loops, full ridge line, and it had the Myers Tech pullouts, and it was 4.1. So I think it's like 3¼ stock. What it is. But it has no coverage. I did use it in 2 light storms and stayed dry, but it's not something I'm going to trust. And we get too many crazy storms out here that if you lived somewhere where there was occasionally a storm or occasionally a rain shower, it would be awesome.
Yep.
Or you didn't hike with somebody named Rain Man?
I have, and so that's why I had to get rid of it.
Yep.
Because he has that name for a reason.
So I got up from Mark, and I made it through an overnight that I knew there wouldn't be any rain whatsoever, period. And I'm comfortable enough with it. Today I ordered a full DCF tarp from Dutch, and I completely blinged it out. Not because I need more stakes or more, Yeah, I ordered it with Zing It, but it's not like I need more Zing It or Lash It. But support the small vendors, support your local vendors, support your hammock vendors. So that being said, if anybody wants a DCF ASIM Dutch wear tarp with a Loop Alien ridgeline and Myers Tech tie-outs, I'm going to sell it to you for the same thing that Mark sold it to me for $150.
Sweet.
So get up with me later, and we'll get it shipped out.
So Casey asked about a preference, DCF or Sil Poly. Is there really a question?
With a DCF tarp, so mine's going to be Sil Poly. I've looked at them, and where I was at weight-wise, I just could not justify spending $100 per drop per ounce.
Yeah.
There's the killer. I mean, the price is definitely for a lot of people, that's the deciding factor.
That's
if weight is a concern at all, there's no question.
Yeah.
If money's a question, if money's a concern, there's no question.
I couldn't I couldn't justify the cost for weight savings until President Trump decided to send me some stimulus money, and okay, now I can stimulate the economy. I can justify that cost a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean the thing was, once I got one with doors, and it was lighter than my lightest Sil Poly tarp, it kind of became a no-brainer for me. That's my go-to at this point. Is the and I even went further and went and bought the Hammock Gear Winter Palace so that I have even more coverage. For me, it's DCF. I've got a Sil Poly and I still use it.
You had it out in England, didn't you?
The Sil Poly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it's my UGQ. It's a UGQ hanger, 12-foot, and it's an amazing tarp. I love the thing. There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, my UGQ hanger 12 foots turned into backdrop most of the night. So right now for me, I'm still Sil Poly, only because I don't have the experience and I don't have the nights under the DCF. So I'll give you an update on that one once.
So there is a distinct difference. If you get into a rainstorm, it's a lot louder underneath DCF. It's like you've got almost like a drum skin above you, because every single drop, you'll be in a light rain and it'll sound like it's a downpour.
So with how tight do you string it up?
I go pretty tight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have?
Because I don't like the flapping. I don't like it flapping when the wind hits.
Shock cord tie outs?
I actually have moved away from the shock cord. I'm not using shock cord anymore.
Okay. Just straight to the line. So you're using the Myers Tech?
I am a different Myers Tech than what I had on that one. But yeah, another Myers Tech.
I think I'm going straight hook, worm, and Dutch wire.
Cool.
At least that's what I ordered it with.
Yeah, I've actually gone back to using the actual hooks onto the rings. So
yeah, G23. I appreciate it. Don't forget to thumb up the stream. Yeah, for Gear Report, please thumb up the stream. Please give us some love and subscribe and hit the little ring the bell. Yeah, everybody knows I didn't get into this for likes. I got into this for just stuff that I enjoy. And this has really turned into a weekly, because us hammock hangers don't have any campfire time through these 6 weeks of nonsense. So, we're doing this just to give you guys some love, some outlet, something to bounce some ideas, ask some questions, cause some trouble. So if you're enjoying it, give us a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumb down, because, I'm that kind of guy. And John's right. Even if you're buying wholesale, it's hard to justify the cost.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what it costs.
So let's see. Next question. What's your favorite fabric? Since we're all hammock people and we all spend more time in the land of fabrics than most tent campers even consider.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
That's gonna be a toss up between probably 1.6 hex and 1.6 Hyper D. Being that I have 2 different hammocks that I pretty much swap out from sleeping in every night. One's hex and one's Hyper D. I really can't one over the other. As you see, my big ass dog just jumped in. And this is hex that I'm sitting in right now, and I'm not worried about him messing it up or anything like that. And this is a Dutch netless, and I have beat the living crap out of this hammock, and uh, it's holding up fine. Yeah, those are my two right there.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Mark, or you want me to go?
I mean, it's no secret. Hyper D all the way.
I'm fan of the Hex, fan of the Hyper D. I mean, we're hitting on the most popular weights across the board. I'm gonna throw out something a little different. While I'm a big fan of the Monolight, and until you get into the Monolight, you don't know how unsettling it is at 1 o'clock in the morning when you look over your shoulder and you see that your underquilt's not under you because it's only coming up to your shoulder, and you see out of that hammock like there's nothing there. I'm gonna throw out 1.3 Mountain. That I've got a hammock in 1.3 Mountain, and I'm working on something with one of my favorite vendors about doing something a little different with the 1.3 Mountain, and a little bit firmer, a little bit better on the weight rating, a little bit more opaque. And Mike's dog just found a squirrel in the yard.
No, that's Boudreaux.
It's me.
Oh, is that Mark's dog? Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, Boudreaux's sleeping, man. What you talking about? It's past his bedtime.
Yeah, but that's what my dog's doing. He don't bark much.
Mine barks all the time.
Any of you guys hunted from a hammock?
Nope.
Would I? Yes, I would, but I don't really hunt no more. I have shot my 23 laying in my hammock quite a few times.
I've dry fired my Glock from my hammock. That's about the extent of it. I mean, I will say I was out at Mining Ridge Armory. Toby was in here earlier, and just because as much time as I spend in my hammock, and I was at a range and we were very controlled and very closed off, I did fire a couple rounds off from the hammock just to see what the hammock did in the process. But you know, when I'm in my hammock, I'm not really concerned about what's walking around. I don't think I'd be alert enough in a hammock to hunt in a hammock. I think I'd be that guy that would fall asleep and the deer would eat my lunch while I'm sleeping in the hammock. So
the next time we get to hang, I'm gonna need you to bring that. What'd you say? 1.3.
The 1.3, yeah.
I'm gonna need you to bring that so I can check that out.
Yeah,
Go ahead. No, go.
It's a little bit more. It's a little bit firmer. It does have kind of the Robic or the Hex silky feel. It's not as cottony as say the Hyper D is. But it's a little bit more opaque. It's a little bit firmer. You know, with the Monolight, it's got a stretch to it, and you're going to find that out. I bet I hang my Monolight a good foot higher to start than what I normally do. But with the stretch, it's an immediate stretch. It's not like that Sierra Madre fabric to where you start and it stretches this much, but in the morning you're, that much lower. Where over time it just continues to give. With the Monolight, it gives in the first 15, 20 seconds. As you're putting weight on it, it gives until it reaches that stopping point. So
the Monolight's interesting. I don't know if it changed from what it originally was, but I had a sample of it when it first came out, and it was extremely rough. It was almost sandpapery.
Mm-hmm.
And even Randy from Dream Hammock and I had talked about it, that you wouldn't make a hammock out of it because it's not something you'd want to lay on. But it definitely has changed, because I've seen quite a few of them made out of it, and it doesn't feel the same. And I've actually got on the one John made for me, not the Wraith, but the other one, the custom one, the Ridgeline Organizer was monolite, and it felt more, I wouldn't say silky, but like a lightweight, smooth fabric. Whereas the first samples I had were much more like where the lines are in it were, I don't even know, like a file.
Right. What's that? What's the other fabric that Ripstop's got out? Not the monolite. Oh, you get in it and it's like you're Velcroed in. You can't move.
Oh yeah.
That.
We laid in one because Randy had a sample one up that was with that. I've got it on a video.
Airwave. Thank you, Karen.
That stuff, yeah, it is like you aren't moving once you get in it.
You ain't moving, no.
Or if you do, your clothes are staying where you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's seriously sticky, for lack of a better word.
Barry kicked out Airweave, so it's either Airwave or Airweave. And John kicked out Airwave. So if you're in Tennessee, it's Airweave. If you're in Ohio, it's spelled Airwave. There we go. It's spelled Airwave in Ohio.
Barry might be thinking some of his girlfriends.
Right.
Oh, okay. Y'all's nuts. Casey says Airwave. All right, so it must just be Barry and his girlfriends with the weaves. Let's see. We're at 8:30. We are at the bottom half of the second hour. I mean, we just completely flew through that first hour mark. So I appreciate it, guys. Let's keep it rolling here. Not quite figured out on these feeds how to fill up the awkward silences. So
viewers need to be throwing out some questions. What do they want?
Yeah. Oh, Barry's saying too much rum. Okay.
It happens.
Yep.
He's from New Orleans. It happens.
New Orleans, Louisiana, Tennessee, Dominican Republic.
I can understand that would be really easy to pour too much rum in that big thing.
Yeah. Let's see. Any questions?
We're on the topic. What's your drink of choice on the trail? I mean,
I kept seeing all your videos about the margaritas, and I went to try old fashions.
Okay.
Because I'm a whiskey guy as opposed to a tequila guy, and that lasted one trip, and it was just easier to just take whiskey. Fair. I grew up a Jack Daniels family. I'm a Tennessee Squire, so my answer to that one is bourbon whiskey.
Nice.
Whatever that guy packs in.
That's a good answer. That's a great answer, actually. Yeah, it's a smart answer. I've actually got 4. Normally it's the Packet Gourmet margarita mix that I use, but I've done lemon lime Gatorade and some of those True Lime packets make a pretty good margarita.
Okay.
But I've got 4 different ones that my friend Mike and I, Beekeeper, he and I were going to do a sampling of 4 different ones, one each night while we were out in Sipsey. So I bought some different mixes. So we're going to give those a try at some point. I've got those airline miles that I still need to spend. So when to
burn through.
Yeah, when this thing opens up and I get back on a plane, maybe we'll still go do that and try those out.
All right, I'm gonna share the screen right quick. You may not have come across this. I have come across this. This is the Kindy Twist. It is a pouch that is designed for breast milk.
Perfect.
So a new mother pumps, stores her breast milk. It is designed to hold 6 to 8 ounces of liquid in a collapsible, reusable, washable pouch that can be frozen.
That one's 5 ounces. How big does it get?
You can get them in 6 or 8 ounce packets.
Okay.
So, beauty of it, a 6 ounce pack of 20 is $8.
Pack of 20.
Pack of 20.
Wow.
Oh, that now I got your attention.
Are they reusable?
Yes, sir. So I could care less about all the little warm and thaws, snaps and feeds and whatnot.
Yeah.
But right there, I've got one, and I've been storing my alcohol in it, not my heat. Excuse me. Okay. I've been storing my heat in it.
That's dangerous, though.
Yeah, well, you label one heat, you label one alcohol, and I use my denatured alcohol is clear, and my bourbon whiskey's not clear.
Yeah, so tequila is clear, so I'm gonna have to make sure.
What were you searching for to find that?
I was literally searching for a lightweight, collapsible container that I could fit in a Toaks 550 pot with a stove, which I'm using that core puck you sent me. It fits. I like it. And the Caldera cone for that 550 you sent me, I've become very happy with that cook set.
Yeah,
just wanted a way to fit the alcohol container inside the pot, so it was all self-contained.
Cool. Yeah.
And that works. And once I bought one off another website for just like $1 or $2, or maybe quarters or whatnot, and realized that it would work. Started searching, found it on Amazon for
$8 for 20 of them.
$8 for 20 of them. And yeah, I'll throw a link in here in a second. But yeah, I'm very pleased so far with that. It's been, I've been told not to leave your alcohol stored in it for months on end, because the inner layer starts to get a little gummy.
Okay.
But for trip in, trip out, there's no weight to it. And as you use it, it takes up less space.
So there's a couple of questions over here on the side. So Casey asked about my dog sleeping in the hammock. My dog is probably the worst behaved dog in the world, so there's no way I would take it on a trail ever. And I don't think I would. I don't like things being against me in the hammock. That's my space. I like the way that Rain Man does it when he has his dog with us, and he's got like a little tarp and a sleeping pad for the dog outside, and that's where the dog sleeps. That's definitely the way I would do it. And then Sean was asking about me going down to Red River Gorge, and sometime, yes, I've had that in the plans several times, and it keeps getting dropped for one reason or another.
Yep.
But I definitely want to get down there. I've done the research. I had trips planned. I had the routes we were going to take planned, off the beaten trail stuff. And it just keeps falling through. But eventually, yes, absolutely. That place, from everything I've seen, I don't have firsthand knowledge, but everything I've seen, all the videos I've watched, and I've watched a ton of them, that place is pretty incredible.
Yeah. My one trip and limited experience, it's pretty cool. I'd like to get out there and see more of it. But my biggest drawback to heading out to the Red is it's a 6.5 hour drive, and I get the big ditch in Linville 45, 50 minutes away. So
do you have a gorge rat patch?
I'm still a gorge mouse.
Gorge mouse.
I'm just a gorge mouse. I'm not a gorge rat yet.
You need to work on that.
I've got more miles in the gorge this year than I do for the previous 41 years of my life. So
Nice.
I was through January and the first part of February, I was at about 10 miles a week in the gorge, which for me and my hiking and consistency wise, that's a huge jump for me. I'm usually good for a 20 or maybe 30-mile trip once a month because I can only get out for that one weekend and get something done. And being able to, consistently day in, day out, string them together.
Yep. So I know you guys, both of you, have ways to hang, even if you can't get out. I mean, Mike's got plenty of trees and stuff around. I'm guessing that he can hang pretty much anytime he wants, anywhere he wants. Hell, he can hang in his house. I see it right now. And I know you've got stands. So have you been getting some hanging in even while all this is going on?
I've got posts into the wall joists upstairs in the gear room. So I've got a netless strung up there that I can get to, and little bit here, little bit there. I can get out into the backyard and do it. And then I've got that one overnight up in the gorge with Alex and Crystal from Dutchware. So
Cool.
Casey, throwing out another question. What is your number one favorite piece of gear so far?
Who wants to take it?
You're the guest. You're in the spotlight.
Honestly, I'm probably going to have to go with my backpack.
Okay.
That Light AF Curve 30. To the point where I like it so much that for the trip in September, I'm having a new one built. But they've got the one that's both full suspension and frameless.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm having made, is one that's got the removable frame. And the one piece that I needed on it that I don't have on mine is a top strap, because I'll be carrying a bear canister. And so I needed somewhere to carry that. And the 35, it'll fit in it, but it takes up so much room that I don't know how I'll have room for everything else. So
I think my favorite piece of gear would be my Black Diamond Alpine Z trekking poles.
You like those?
They have saved my ankles and knees and hamstrings more times than I care to admit. They're the perfect length for the one tent that I will pleasurably sleep in with my Lightheart gear, Firefly with awning, and they weigh less than every other trekking pole I've ever had. So, yeah.
Trekking poles, they're one of those things that once you start using them,
you're not going to go back.
Yeah.
Yep. What you got, Mike?
I don't have one piece of gear that I could say is my absolute favorite piece of gear. I have plenty of gear. What I tend to use, I've been through so much that I built that particular kit, and there's something personal about each piece of gear. Not that it was just something I could have walked into a store and bought or whatever. And it's all true and tried, tested and tried pieces that I know I can rely on. So I can't.
That's good.
One piece of gear as my favorite piece.
I will pull out one piece of gear as your favorite piece. All the trips that we've been on, of all the things that you've forgotten, the only time you have pitched a fit and cussed up a storm because you did not have a piece of gear was that one trip that we took out to Raven Rock in the dead of summer, and you didn't have your pocket bolos to attempt to put together and coax a fire.
Yeah, you got a fair point there. I'll give you that one.
You know, you're just like, damn it, move on. But you cussed up a storm for a good 35, 40 minutes not having that pocket bellows.
That's kind of like me not having my pocket knife on me,
Yep.
or a lighter in my pocket. I'm gonna feel
right.
I'm not gonna be a happy camper.
Dave Moose showed up. What's going on, Moose? Thanks for knocking around and joining us. I hope all is well in your quarantine.
Moose will have to show y'all what happened to all the masks. He found out where they all went to.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Moose. I appreciate you filling me in on that intel.
All right, G23 wants to know what would be some great advice for a noob.
Oh, the best advice would be to go to Spiguyver Backpacking channel and watch the. I mean, best advice is go to a hang and test stuff out. Try out. Don't be shy to ask people if you can go lay in their hammock.
Yep. I think we can, the three of us can pretty much agree that if you're interested and curious in hammock camping and you've never been hammock camping or you're new to hammock camping, there's a lot, it's very involved. There's a lot of small, intricate moving parts.
Yep.
There's a lot of, for the gun guys in the audience, putting your hammock up each and every time can be as difficult and complicated as field assembling an AR-15.
Well, and the other thing is you ask 20 different people their opinions, and you're going to get 20 different opinions.
You're going to get 20 different opinions.
And like I said, I was not a fan of the Blackbird XLC. There are a lot of people out there that absolutely love it. So you ask my opinion of it, I'm going to tell you it's not a hammock that I would use. Someone else, it's going to be their go-to hammock. So go out, try stuff out.
And Casey, I'm thinking that was probably the second episode with Roxanne that we covered all the plethora of newbie questions. That was a good episode if you're new into hammock camping. That was episode 2. I think it was episode 2.
Biggest piece of advice on top of going to the hangs would be buy the very best insulation, especially your under insulation that you can. Even if you have to save up for it, collect drink cans, cut grass, whatever. Get the best underquilt that you possibly can get, and get it the lowest temperature rating that you're gonna feel comfortable with. Either 20 or 0 would be my suggestion.
You can get by with a cheap blue tarp from Walmart. You can get by with a, dare I say it, a cheap hammock from Walmart. Please don't buy Eno. I can get you a cheaper than Eno hammock that's going to be leaps and bounds better.
Yes.
With my eyes closed. And that's not even pulling any strings. But if you're going to spend your allowance and your rent money on a piece of gear, make sure it's your underquilt. Because that's nothing's going to ruin your night more than being cold.
Or put you in jeopardy of being in danger. Like hypothermia.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about it. I've talked about it several times, but one of the first hangs that I did was out on the AT. Actually, it was on the approach trail, and it was the first night of a 3 or 4 night. I think it was a 4-night trip that we did, and the very first night there was a breeze, and it was probably 60 degrees overnight, and I froze my ass off. I actually got up. It was a double layer. I got up and I found junk that was laying around because we were camped right outside of one of the shelters. I found junk that was on the ground and I started stuffing it in between the 2 layers because I was that cold. Yep.
Have you ever had to go to ground on a hiking trip?
Never.
On a trail in the woods, oh God, I've got to go to ground.
Never.
But that's the biggest fear of first-time hammock campers is what do I do if I have to go to ground?
I would say at this point, I probably have, 500 nights in hammocks and not one time. Not one time.
So after you put out your video of what happens if you have to go to ground, I went out in the backyard with my setup and I went to ground.
Sorry.
And that's it. I didn't sleep out there. I just went and set up the tarp to make sure it would work and just to see what it would look like and, you know, how to make it happen. But yeah.
So Dave is asking, when I was in the UK, different brands. So the shirt that I'm wearing right now, this is a Rab shirt. So Rab is like a big brand out there. This is, you know, Sheffield, England. It's like a big down company. A lot of the same brands that are out here are out there, but they did have some of their own brands. Europe has some different brands that are there. I showed some of the food. Some of the food was different brands. They didn't have. I couldn't find any brands of food that were recognizable from stuff that we have here. But as far as equipment goes, yeah, they have their own cottage vendors as well, and so there was a lot of that stuff out there too. But as far as the bigger brands, a lot of the shops, like there was Blacks that I went to quite a bit, and a couple of others, and they had their own like off-brand stuff, kind of like an REI or an EMS would have here. Yeah, there were definitely other brands, and some of it looked really cool. If stuff over there wasn't so damn expensive, I probably would have brought some home. But for whatever reason, the UK is expensive, really expensive.
Do you, being over there, seeing their gear, seeing their hammocks, seeing their cottage vendors, do you think we're ahead of the curve, or they're ahead of the curve, or
when it comes to hammocks, we're way ahead of the curve. And anyone over there that has a decent hammock setup has gotten it from a Dream or a Dutch. A lot of the stuff that the guys are using over there is 9-foot crap, honestly, as far as hammocks go. Now, when it comes to tents, they've got some pretty elaborate. I mean, the few tents that I saw out there were all like expedition type tents, not ultralight stuff, not like Z packs, but like ready to withstand a serious storm.
one of the Mountain Hardware Everest Base Camp?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, on the smaller scale, but yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I noticed that with the Tencel, that it's a European company and it's really heavy duty.
Right. I mean, even their clothing, like, man, what is the name of that one company? There's like a company that you see stuff every once in a while, and like their pants are like double reinforced and have
Fall Raven.
Yes, that's a big brand over there as well. That crap is expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
like, holy crap.
Yeah. $150 for a pair of pants.
Yeah. But people swear by them, and I mean, you could pretty much take a knife to them, and the pants laugh at you. So
yeah,
I mean, that's cool. But yeah. What else we got?
Let's see. Casey said his hammock ripped and he had to cowboy camp by a fire about a month ago. Yeah, I saw the videos, brother. I hate it for you.
I mean, that is the one thing that it can happen. I mean, depending on how old it is, how many nights you've got in it, did you jump in it with something in your pocket, toss something in there, have something fall on it? Yeah, I mean, that is probably the one thing that will cause it to happen, a rip.
No, the worst I've had is my foot end's been not high enough, or my head end's been too high, and in the middle of the night I wake up in a ball with the foot.
I did have a hammock I was testing that was sewn wrong. It was one that was sent to me to test. I hung it up, sat in it, and it shredded. I didn't hit the ground, but I mean, I heard it ripping. Sent it back and got a new one, but
just Aaron manufacturing, or
yeah. Well, what it was quality control. Let's just leave it at that. Yep.
All right.
Poor quality control, not checking the work after it was done. I mean, a line of stitching went in, and when it went in, So triple stitched whipping at the end. A piece of the actual fabric from the hammock was up. What should have been a foot lower got caught in that, and so it got stitched in. And so when you sat in it, right in the middle was way too tight, and so it just shredded it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. John Rammel, owner of Trailheads, a piece of gear that you wish you had all along. I think this is a plug for man. I wish I had a Wraith a couple years ago. So I'll just throw that out there. Man, I wish I had a Wraith a couple years earlier. But what piece of gear would you wish you had all along?
Go ahead, Mike. I got to think on this one.
At the moment, I'm wishing that I had the Wraith. I got to lay in Jones and spend a night in Pickles, and yeah, I've got to have one. Plus, I'm going a little shorter just so I can beat Derek and Chris.
Yeah, Mike's using his lack of height as a positive at this point. I don't know. I have a feeling within the next couple weeks it's going to be the DCF winter tarp from Dutch.
Actually, that's a good one. Adored tarp.
Yeah,
I think so.
I will say I wish I had just gone straight to a Dord tarp.
Yep.
That
or for my channel stuff, going to, I'm hoping anyway, that the camera that I just went to.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe that's what I wanted to do all
along. From the beginning.
Yeah, it is. I mean, from my experience with it, it is everything people say it is.
Oh, John. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see where John was going with that. But if I was actually looking for a plug for us, I was thinking the roll up. As an accessory, I will agree with that. I was thinking larger, big ticket item, hammock, tarp, backpack, quilts, right. If I had to do it all over again, I would have bought the 0 degree underquilt first. The high downfill, very warm, very light, way more money than I ever wanted to spend on fabric and feathers underquilt.
So I will say, and kind of going off of that, I agree. That's yep. But there's a limit to how far you go. 900, not worth it, because I spent the extra money and got a custom 900 made, and it is more susceptible to loss of loft due to humidity in the air and other stuff. And so on a night that a 0 degree, because it's a 0 degree should be fine. There are some nights where that 0 degree suffers.
Okay.
And my 20 is warmer.
Okay.
So
there you go, boys and girls. 850 down.
Yep. 850 is the one.
850 is the sweet spot. Get your 0, get your 20. Get it from a reputable U.S. vendor. I recommend Jacks Are Better, Cedar Ridge Outdoors, and Loco Libre quilts. Mark will recommend Hammock Gear and UGQ, just so we can get all the
and definitely Loco Libre and
yeah.
So, Cedar Ridge. I don't own any of their stuff, but I've used their stuff, and that is some quality gear right there. That's all.
Rain Man probably owns enough Cedar Ridge for both of you combined.
He has so much, and I borrowed. I borrowed his underquilt when I went and did the whites. So great stuff.
Yeah. Mike, you awake over there?
Yeah, I'm awake. I was just listening to y'all. Y'all pretty much covered my quilt choices also.
Well, folks, it's 9 o'clock, and I think YouTube pretty much has a hard stop. So I'm gonna Mark, thank you for coming on and
Hey,
giving
thanks for
us
inviting me.
plenty to talk about over the last 2 hours.
Maybe one of these days we'll get to actually go out in the woods again and
Yeah,
hang out together.
yeah. I'd like to share campfire with you. But everybody, thanks for joining in. Let me kick these gentlemen down to the bottom. Thanks for joining in. Come on back, see us next week. We'll have some fun next week. And if you get a chance, I'll catch you on the flip side. Stay safe, stay dry. Don't catch a cough. Stay away from the COVID. And be good to everybody. Thanks, everybody.